Next question will come from Rhonda Kennedy.
Okay, this question is for both of you. Jennifer, you were speaking about the foreclosures and getting involved with different community groups to handle some of those abandoned houses. Being a former building inspector for the city of Milwaukee for 5 years, one of the issues was, abandoned homes and homes that are being run down and not being cared for. But there are city ordinances and code violations that the Department of Building Inspection enforce with, respect to those homes or different homes that may be used as historic houses and that. Would you support some similar codes like the city of Milwaukee and the city of Chicago, those different codes that they have on the books right now to enforce the building codes on those abandoned homes, whether they're bank owned or they're still owned by the owner, so that way clean up some of those areas?
Absolutely, and obviously I don't know exactly what the codes are for Chicago and Milwaukee. But anything where there is a program in place to protect the quality of life for the neighbors and the property values of the neighbors and prevent...
And if they're not, the city of Las Vegas is doing it, and we're leaning those properties. In the past couple of years, we've certainly changed our position as a city council. I know I have, in regard as a city councilman in Ward 6, with homeowners that leave their homes in a terrible mess. Green swimming pools, weeds growing in the yards, broken windows. We'll go in, we'll fix those, board the windows up, take care of the shrubbery, and then we'll lien those properties. And they get to be quite hefty liens. We've been very aggressive in moving forward with that. As Ms. Taylor had mentioned in a previous question about the priorities and the #1 issues in Ward 6, by all means, that is the #1 issue. I have hosted several...
Take a look at where our expenditures lie, where the services are necessary, and what we would need to do to provide essential services while still maintaining a balance of the revenue coming in. I think that it's incredibly tough, and we need to look at some really creative solutions that are not just the typical short-term, quick fix, bring money in type of solutions that we've sort of seen coming out of city council in the past. I would think that, I know there's a lot of different measures sitting in the state assembly and the legislature right now that would talk about room taxes and different taxes that could provide some revenue. While there are entities that are coming into Nevada and getting tax abatements and not providing the type of resources for jobs and for actual benefits back to the community, those might be some of the places that I would look. But it would have to be on a case-by-case basis, and there would have to be some analysis.
V. Carson will take the last question.
My question is to both of you. In Ward 6, I have talked to some people in Ward 6 who have actually lived there and bought homes there or chose to rent there because of the area. It's a pretty decent, nice area. And one of the things that I heard from some people that lived in that area was that some of the real estate agents or the home owners were actually renting to pimps and, allowing, pimps on several occasions to rent some of the homes in that area, and they were, having these kind of activities, and it's something that, the neighbors obviously didn't want going on because they moved to get away from that kind of thing. What will you do if you're elected to support the community and the residents that are living there if they have those kinds of problems? Because a lot of times it's reported and nothing's done. So what will you be able to do to help eliminate some of those things that happen?
Who first?
You go first.
I'll go first. Can I have the addresses? No,
Yeah, actually the problem was taken care of for a little while, but doesn't mean that it's not going to happen again, because it's happened several times.
One thing I have not tolerated in Ward 6 in my term as city councilman is any kind of illegal activity such as that. When we talked about drug homes earlier and drug houses, absolutely intolerable. All I need is an address. Like I said earlier, I work very closely with Metro to target those homes, to find out who's doing what where, and getting them out of our neighborhoods. That's a big priority. Public safety has always been my #1 priority. It was my first campaign, and it is, again, this campaign coupled with the foreclosure issues that our neighborhoods are facing today.
One of the things I think we need to look at in addition is strengthening, working with, again, the state and other governmental entities to strengthen our HOA programs and to strengthen things like the state ombudsman office. Because that's an enforcement program that neighbors can use to try to resolve issues and to try to hold homeowners accountable for the acts of their tenants. From a civil side, there's two aspects to it. There's criminal and there's civil. And so I would want to make sure that the statutes governing the HOAs and the funding and oversight abilities of the ombudsman are strengthened so that they can go into neighborhoods as well and make owners accountable fiscally for what's going on with their tenants.